Today's webinar is presented by Scott Johnson, who is a widely respected photographer here in the UK with a whole bunch of accolades and awards. He's a FujiFilm ambassador, or ex-photographer as they're officially called, and a Fundy storyteller. Hi Scott, how are you?
I'm a little warm, if I'm honest. I said before my heating's on and I've put my Fundy hoodie on and I'm a little warm. So if I start to melt, but I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm very well. I'm a little on the warm side as well. I've kind of cranked the heating up. It looked really chilly this morning, cranked the heating up and now slightly regretting it. But yeah, I like to be toasty. So.
Absolutely.
So you've been using Fundy Designer for a long time now, haven't you?
I have. You know what? It's changed the business. Without Fundy Designer, I'd be just getting on really, but the use of additional spreads, we'll get into the how I'll sell albums, but I think I've been using it nearly 6 years now. I mean, it's changed the business for me.
And now we're on version 10, which has got some incredible functionality.
Yeah, that was a big game changer. I did it when I was out at WPPI in February. I had to come up with 2 reasons why I like version 10. I said to Fundy, only 2? I've got way more than 2. It's just so much better.
Fantastic. So I guess we better start explaining to people how they can present their albums and sell them to clients.
Yeah, we're going to go through it really about, just going to touch briefly on the layout of the software, but we're going to really delve into the album proofer side of it. And again, especially now where we can't get people to do in-person sales, it's a really good opportunity to still get that upsell digitally. As much as I'd love to get people in here, we just can't at the minute. So this has been an absolute lifesaver for me. Great.
Okay, well, over to you.
All right, awesome. Right, I need to share my screen. So basically, those of you that haven't used Fundy before, I'm going to go onto here. This is the screen. There we go. This is the screen that you'll see when you first open it up. As you can see, we've got loads of different projects in here, but we're going to go to an album which I've just designed recently called Sarah and James. I need to change my new share. Here we go. Let's do this. This is going to open up my album design. This is going to open up what we've just done. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Fundy, this is how we do all the design work in Fundy. You can see we've got many different spreads up in here, and it's it's template software. So you just basically drag and drop in. I was going to show you very, very quickly how you can see at the bottom here, we have all my images in. I'm just going to very, very quickly throw something together. And it's as simple as that, really. You can change everything about. You can hit your space bar and move the spread about. You can then double click. And as Angela said, we're now on version 10. So version 10 has got individual drop boxes, and it was an absolute game changer for me. I love the templates that Fundy give you. As you can see, when you click on the view option, click on click on layouts on the top right. It then gives you more of an option to go through, and it's from here that you can cycle through. But the best thing about version 10 is if I click on this, I can change the drop boxes around and make each one individual and tweak it to my own specifications. So although it is a template software, I can put my own touch on it, given my brand and what my clients are expecting from my sample albums. But anyway, let's get off that. Let's get on to what we're here to talk about, which is, I'm just going to delete this by clicking the cross at the bottom here. First things first I do is I'm a great believer in music can evoke any sort of emotion, especially when we're talking about weddings, family portraits, or newborns. And the best way to involve music with our images is using the slideshow feature within Fundy software. Personally, I use if we're just doing it, to the client, we can then pick on their first dance. You can, as long as you're not putting it online, you break all sorts of copyright laws. But you can also import music tracks from Triple Scoop, Artlist. There are many different music websites out there where you pay a subscription or you buy per track and get royalty-free music. You can put that on the internet and do it to your heart's content. That's, I think, the best way of doing it. Therefore, you can share it online, put it on your own YouTube channel, and you're not going to break any copyright laws. So to get that what we see here, we just click on the bottom icon at the bottom right here. So you've got auto design, clear, add photos, and then we have a little logo at the bottom right hand here. You click on that, and that will bring us up. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Let me do a different share. There's too many windows up. There's too many windows. There we go. That brings up this window. And then up here on the right top left, you have a little play icon. This is where you select the slideshow. So click on that, and hopefully you can still see the slideshow box now.
Yep, we can.
So you can still see it?
Yeah. Oh, we can see the
Perfect.
slideshow options. Is that the box you're looking for?
Yes, that's it.
That's
Even better, even better. So once you click on the play icon on the top left of the, once you click at the bottom right, it's confusing. This brings up the slideshow options. And as you can see here, we've got 35 slides, and that is the spreads in which we have designed using the album builder. Now you can add more slides if you wish. You can add, wall art. You can add anything that's based in the Fundy software, card designs, studio logos, blog collages, anything like that. But we would just want to do the spreads that we've designed for the album. So we've got 35 slides, and that's going to total to 3 minutes and 47 seconds. So right here, we have some background music. So I'll just delete one of those so you can see how we enter it all in. So you click on the add song. And as you can see, Fundy software, it does come with a small selection of royalty-free tracks that you get when you have the Pro enhancement. As you can see, we have something from Triple Scoop here. We have Fundy's. It's all there. It's absolutely fantastic. But as I said, I'm a member. I use Artlist and I use Triple Scoop. So depending on what song I'm looking for, it takes me hours sometimes to find the right piece of music for the right album, because if we just using the same music time in and time out, it becomes impersonal. You're just going through the motions. I like to source each individual track for the slideshow in which I'm using and presenting to my client. So to do this, you just basically either click on import custom song, or we go download more from design library. So that will take us to the Fundy's software version. So we go into here, and it opens up this music bed here, and you can download some more tracks from Fundy. And there's many, many more, as you can see in here. Basically, click download, and then you can just attach that to into the slideshow. So we're going to hit close. Going to back up to slideshow. So we're going to bring a song in. Any one will do. Let's bring in this one here, which is 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So now we have 2 tracks in. To delete one, you simply hit the delete. If you want to bring a second one in, you can actually change the order as well by dragging on the 3 lines on the top right here, next to the trash can icon. And so let's say you've got multiple tracks, you've got 3 or 4 tracks, and you've gone for a slideshow of all the images that are in the wedding, not just the albums. So you're going to need more than a 5-minute track, or it's going to be too quick. The customer isn't going to be able to see it. So you can drag and drop and change the order in which the tracks are placed in. We just want to go for 1 track here. So again, we'll delete there. And you can actually match the music now as well. So rather than guessing, I used to use iMovie before this, which is brilliant. Nothing against iMovie, but it's not designed to do image JPEG slideshows. So I use this function now, and it's excellent. Click on match music, and it's going to basically tell us this will adjust the duration of 35 slides to the average of 4.6 seconds per slide, which basically means that Fundy Album Proofer is going to sync the music to the slideshow. And we know we're not going to overrun. We're not going to have, a long, the slideshow will finish and we'll still have 4 minutes of Ed Sheeran playing at the end. It's just going to start and finish perfectly to time. So we hit yes. And you can see here, we've now got all slides to 4.571 seconds. It's very, very precise. You can also change the duration if you wish, but then, it's designed to go from there. You can check the box to go if you want to show the file name. Personally, I don't. I just want the client to see the spread of which we designed. If they come back in for in-person sales, that's a point in which I probably would turn the file name on, purely because it makes changing and you can make notes a lot quicker. And then it becomes to making any adjustments back in Album Builder a lot faster. So, but when you're going it on YouTube or on your website, just turn that off. And you can also set the background color. The slider pops up at the bottom here, and you can adjust the background color. I have it in black because it just makes, you can see the outline of the spread an awful lot easier. So you've got a couple of options now. You can play the slideshow, which we can do. I'm not going to play all of it, but we'll do it so you can get an idea. So we hit play and hit space bar to go. And it just syncs through. So that gives you an idea, basically, of how it works. I'm not going to go through all of it. But yeah, so it will just finish off and tail off absolutely beautifully. The other way what you can do is exporting it. So that just gives you a preview when you hit play. You can then save that so you can come back to another point. You can also hit the export button down the bottom left here. And when you hit export, it gives you some options. And it's really, really cool because it doesn't just export as a specific MP4 file to work in QuickTime or on someone's phone. You can actually tell Fundy how you want it to export. So you can say, I want it at 1080 high definition. I want it at 720 or 480 to go something a little bit less if it's going to be up to going on YouTube. So again, we'll just hit there, hit save. And then as you can see, it sets the video resolution. Click on the drop box here. You can go 4K. So if you've got a big studio with a big 60-inch 4K TV, you can set it at 4K, so you know that it's going to export at the absolute best resolution that your TV can go for. But also what you can do, you can actually go into custom size. Now, custom size is great because if in person, I've got a 27-inch monitor here, so I've gone onto the manufacturer's website and I've got the specific resolution for that monitor. So I know that when I export my slideshow, it's going to fit that monitor perfectly. Also, if you might sell the slideshow afterwards as part of an add-on maybe, or a sweetener to help seal the deal, and you know that the client is going to want to see the slideshow on their iPad or on their iPhone, you can actually customize the resolution in here by going onto the Apple website, going onto Samsung, whichever phone that they've got, and getting a specific resolution for their phone. So you know that when you export the slideshow for the phone or iPad or any tablet, it's going to be perfect. It's going to fit absolutely perfectly and show your work off the best possible way. And again, if you sync it in with some nice music or their first dance track, they're going to show all their friends. And if you're doing that, make sure you put your brand as the last slideshow. So the last thing they see is your logo. And that way, that's going to stick with the client. Anyone that sees that, it's going to be absolutely perfect for an upsell from there. I sell loads of slideshows. I did a newborn shoot over lockdown, and again, we timed in just a nice track, and it just, so I know that when certain shots come up, the key is going to change, and that's how we really kind of affect emotion with our slideshows, by putting the right music with the right slideshow. Please don't, you do it now, obviously whatever works for you, but from my experience, try and find the right piece of music for the right images. Don't just use the same one week in, week out, because if you're going to put it on YouTube, it just shows that you've got maybe a little bit lazy or complacent with the images. If you've got a list of slideshow on YouTube and a client is going through and each track is different, they're going to know that you've put a lot more thought and time and effort into making that slideshow. So that's just my piece of advice into there. So anyone got any questions, Ange, on slideshow before I move on to the next thing?
Yeah, well, you've covered one, because one question was, do you use the same song? So you've made that quite clear. That is not not what to do. And I think you only have to think about some of the most famous films, like Jaws, and you kind of think how much the music had an impact. It's exactly the same with a slideshow, isn't it?
Sorry, just taking a sip from my Fundy cup. See that? Oh. Nice, get the brand in there somewhere as well. But no, absolutely. Music is power. I mean, those of you who've been to see me talk live will know that about now I start playing AC/DC Thunderstruck, because our brains can associate music to certain points in our life. Our brains have a way of triggering to think, I need to remember this. So I generally start my talks with Thunderstruck. I run around the auditorium like an absolute lunatic. But then you can evoke that same emotion by putting the right bit of track on a person's wedding images. And I think the music is the most underrated, powerful tool that we have as photographers to sell our work. And I think if you put, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, put the right track on the right images, you will sell a ton more.
Okay, good points. So, and do you ever get, to take the client's advice on music? Do they sometimes suggest a favorite track?
Yeah, obviously, it's if they don't, then I've got artistic license on the music that I use. But sometimes the clients might say, actually, this is what we walk down the aisle to. This is what we sign and register to. Can we have that? I'm like, of course you can. Obviously, don't put it on YouTube because of copyright issues. Again, I can't stress that enough. YouTube are really, really hot on copyright. You get 3 strikes. Once you had your 3 strikes, you're done. You're off YouTube. That you're off. It's done. So you have to be really careful. Those of you that saw if you saw my graphic studio video with my album reveal, all of that, even what sounded like the BBC news bed was off Artlist, and it sounds like it, but it's all royalty free, so I can use it on YouTube and online. You have to be careful because if you get done, 1, you might get fined, and 2, you'll start getting blocked off Facebook and YouTube. So just be really careful about tracks that you use to go on there, which is why Fundy does kind of point you towards Triple Scoop and buy your music beds from there.
Okay, that's great advice. Thanks, Scott.
Awesome. So we're going to go on to how we set up the design proofer. So you can export in. Let me come off here, and I'm back. I've stopped the screen share. I should be back on screen now. Perfect. We're going to go different screen share now to show you how we export for our proofer. So go back into here. You can see my designer now with a bit of luck. I think that's good. So once we're happy with the album and how we lay it out, we need to export that. To export that, again, you go on the top right, and we have a little box with an arrow. Click on that, and we now have some options. And we can go export for print, export for proofer, export for web. Splits, if you're doing different page 1, page 2 rather than spreads, you can do that. Export for PDF. And so we're going to export for proofer, which basically means that Fundy Designer is going to export your spreads and make very, very small JPEGs of the spread. So you click on, oh, here we go. Perfect. This is excellent. So what this is telling me is that my images aren't synced within the software. So if you look, I probably can't see it on the bottom, on the top of each logo here, I've got a little icon. And that tells me that I need to resync the images. Really easy to do. Just select all the images, hold your control option down, hit resync all 234 images. And then we just find where we want to go. Sarah and James album. And then open, and then what that does, that basically re-imports. You can't see it from a different screen, all the images again from the hard drive in which we've saved. It's very easy. This is great because it means you can also then unplug your hard drive, work on an album when you're maybe at a wedding on your laptop, and then come back in, plug the hard drive back in, resync, and all that work is still going to be saved. It's brilliant because what Fundy does, it creates proxy images from the high-res files as small low-res thumbnails in the software, so you can work on it remotely. It's brilliant. So we're going to export for proofer. Oh, I've still got some more in there. Let me find a different album, which I know is going to work. I've just done this. So I've just started a new design here, just about to start a design process. So we're just going to export just to show you very quickly how to do it. Export for proofer. And it's going to tell you where you want it saved. So basically find the sample album, which is here, and hit export. And I'm going to bring this over. Hopefully you can see that. It tells you if you want to export the whole range, all the spreads, and you can only export a proofer in sRGB. Hit export, bang, it's good to go. When it's finished exporting, you will be given a prompt. Now, those of you that have the Pro enhancement with Fundy Designer, the album proofer is phenomenal. As I said, in this time where we can't get people into the showroom itself, as you can see here, would you like to go to the design proof and login sign up? You can hit yes, or you can hit no. So if you hit yes, it takes you straight through. So we're going to hit no, but we can also go into Pro Enhancement, and up here in the menu, it will say login to Design Proofer, and that will take you to a different web browser, which I am going to log in from and share a different screen. Those of you that can't see me, I have loads of different screens up in here, new share, and then we're going to go to here, and that will take you to the create new proof. Now, for those of you that are new to this bit of software and this Pro Enhancement, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So we're going to start from the start. We're going to go create new proof. And then you've got some options. So basically, this is all the options of which you will need to send email reminders to your client, and any correspondence within this album proofer you'll set up here. So if you haven't already put your client in, they've got a drop down options from here. You hit create new client or add new client. Sorry, you put the client name in. We're going to go call it Angela. If I can spell, there we go. Actually, we'll call it Scott. Much easier. And then it's from here that you'll put the client email in. Now you have to get this right at this point. You can change it, but this is the email in which every correspondence will leave Fundy Album Proofer using this email. Now you can put more than one email address in. So let's say you want to send one to the bride and the groom. Just put a comma in. So we'll hit info, do that. So then hit a comma, and then you put a separate email address in, and then you can send two emails at the same time. So on the right here, you have proofing options. So we have proofing agreement, maximum number of changes, enable client password, third-party image gallery. That's basically if you've got a smug mug gallery, or you want to put a link into the client can then view all of their images, not just the spreads to the album. You can associate that in from there. Now this is the greatest one at the bottom here, request changes link. So basically when we get through to it, and I'll show you, at the bottom of each spread, there'll be two icons. One will be approve spread, and then you can turn the next one, which is request changes, off and on. So basically, if you turn that one off, it then means the client can't request any changes, and it gets the album through a lot quicker. Personally, I turn it on. Nothing goes to print until my client is happy. So I always turn this one on. Now, the proofing agreement, this is basically what the text will be when the client receives the email from you. Now it's in here that you can put in there all album proofs are final. You can request once it goes to print, any changes it will then cost you X amount of pounds or dollars to rectify that change. So basically it's the warning to say, don't forget, once you've approved this layout, this is how it will look. You can put all of your small print to whatever relates to your album and your studio into there. The maximum number of changes, again, this will tell them how many times they can go round the horn so much. So basically I set mine to 2, and again it encourages a speedy return. It encourages a speedy way of getting the album proof done a lot quicker. If you put it as 10, brides and grooms, they will use all 10 rounds of changes, and that's going to take forever. Again, put it as 2 or 3, or just turn it off. It's really up to you on how you want that to work. Again, I put mine as 2, because as much as we use the software day in and day out, we still don't get everything perfect, and some brides want make it absolutely fine, which is we're totally fine with. So again, set it at 2. Enable client password, pretty straightforward. You can set your password in here. That can be pretty much anything that you want it to be. And then you can change it all from there. So upload revision. This is where we add the spreads. To do this, we'll go to select files. This is a parent book I designed today, and we're going to basically select. So always go for 001 at the top. It's just a habit I've gotten myself into, and hold shift and then hit down to the last spread of the album, then hit choose. As you can see here, it now uploads all the spreads quite quickly because they're low res files. It goes in really, really quickly. I've got fast internet here, and obviously internet speeds may vary. And you can see we have now revision 1. So this is the first revision of the album proof, which we want to show the client. Once you've done that, click save. It then brings us to this screen here. So sometimes I might select a spread that's in the wrong order, or I want to make sure that I haven't saved it properly. So it's here that we can hold and drag and move the spreads around if you want to. I mean, it uploads in the order, in numerical order, so you shouldn't have to do this, but the option is there if you want to change it all about a little bit. At the bottom here, we have create cover. Now, again, I can do a whole webinar on how we do album designs, but I think Robert covered that last week. You have to upload the cover. So when you export your album from Fundy Designer, it exports a back and a front cover. You can set that up when you design the album. So you hit choose, and this will import at the bottom here, the front cover and the back cover. Now you can change that in the album proofer. You can put a picture here if you've got an acrylic cover from your album supplier, then you hit save. Now you have some options here. You can add, again, you can put some music to the when they're going through the slideshow online on the album proofer. You can put music on. I don't, because a lot of people, if they're on maybe viewing it on a train, they'll generally just turn it down anyway. So at this point, I don't tend to put music on. But if you do, you just hit on. You select the music. So here we have the music I used last time from Artlist. You can select that. You can either loop it or turn the loop off. Again, I don't at this point. Or you can upload your own music or go into the music library. And again, you can select in the Pro Enhancement, all your tracks are here. So you can go baby, you can go family, you can go, senior portraits, weddings, anything like that. But again, you can go to My Music and you can upload your own track if you want. And it's also here that you can select what color you want your background to be. Again, I'll set mine as white, but you can set it as any color in the gamut there. So you've got 16 million colors to choose from. So hopefully there's one you like, basically. So basically you hit save, and it's at this point it brings you up to the email reminder. Now this is the email reminder that will remind the client to look through their proof. We all know, especially now there's so much going on, it's really easy to forget things, and I'm guilty of that. We forget to do a lot of things. So here you can turn the reminders on and choose the frequency of the reminder in which they get, once or twice a month. Personally, I want it twice a month, because again, one a month is easy to go to the back of someone's conscious. So twice a month, they'll be getting an email to say, hey, don't forget your album proof's online, ready to be viewed and signed off, because you want to get this done before Christmas. And again, that's a detail you can put into your right at the start with in your home, in the proofing agreement. You can put in there about Christmas deadlines or anything like that. So it's a really good way of just reminding clients how to do it. And again, you can go back, although we got to the end here of email reminders, you can go back at any point and select the tabs at the top here. Now we're not going to email it. So basically you hit the email, finish email, and that will go, and email will land instantly into the client's inbox to say, hey, Scott at the Edge has just designed your album proof. Click here to have a look. And they will kind of go through and see how it looks. Anyone got any questions, Ange, in a minute before I bring up the next thing?
Sorry, just unmuting myself quickly there. Yes. Is there any suggested text for the proofing agreement?
I guess that's pretty much down to you. I mean, I've tweaked mine over the years. Unfortunately, we all set business up and don't really know what you're doing. I certainly didn't, and I learned by mistakes about how to have my album proof. So I've got the text that works for me. It basically covers Christmas deadlines, any reprints. The final design is obviously final. Once you've hit approve, this is how it's going to look. So you have to kind of be, talk them through the process. But I'm sure if you go speak to your insurance company, they might well have a version of, a legally binding, like every insurance company has T's and C's. They might have something to do with finished proofs and finalized proofs. So I would go to them first.
Okay. Another question was, when you talk about setting the number of changes, you say you set it to 2. That's actually rounds of changes. It's not, we want one picture changing to black and white, and we want the other one, another one changing.
That's correct. Yeah. So in the rounds of changes, the client can go on and make a change on every spread if they want to. So they can change all 35 spreads, but they only get to do that per revision. So it's per. So let's say we do 2 revisions. By the 3rd revision, that function will then be turned off, and that will be pretty much good to go, and we can go to print from there.
Okay, and one last question before you move on. When you change the order of the spreads in the proofer, does that get moved back to the design layout as well, or do you have to remember to go back and do that?
No, remember to go back and do it. I fell foul of that once. I uploaded a proof. I designed something in Fundy in the album designer. I didn't switch an image in the album designer, but I switched it in the album proofer. It went to print, but I hadn't saved it, so it's completely my fault. And I had to pay for the reprint because I messed up. So yeah, just make sure you do it, and it correlates to both. Otherwise, you have an expensive mistake like I did. I only one. Oh god, yeah, I can't afford to do it twice.
Great, thanks for that.
Awesome. So I'm just going to go through and show you what the client will see when it comes to here. So we're going to go to you can still see my screen share on the. You can.
Yeah, I've got the design proofs.
Brilliant,
Screen.
excellent. Yeah. So this is how one of my clients. This is the wedding we shot back in October. We had a really quick turnaround because we wanted to get the album in before the Christmas deadline at Graphy. So we turned it around super fast. Obviously, let's be honest, I'm not that busy at the minute when it comes to doing album proofs and designs, so we can turn it quickly. So this is how it's going to look. So basically, we click on the main album here. So as you can see, this is how they got their everything was through to here. So the client is Kelly Nichols. And then we are going to go to the comments. So this is my album agreement. This is the first thing that pops up when any client goes in to view their wedding album, and they can't go anywhere until they accept the agreement. So that they click this, so they know that they've read. They should have read it. Some clients will just click accept without even reading it, but we do tell them to make sure you read the agreement because you have to know what's going on from there. Once they click yes, you can then go through, and this is how they see their album. So basically, this is the comments box we said about earlier. Now you can turn that off, and this is the approved page. If they're happy, they click approved page, and it's approved. They then can't click on the comment box. I'm clicking, you probably hear my finger tapping, nothing happens. So once they've approved that, they can't change it. If they wanted to go through here, let's scroll down and click on this. They click on the comment box, and up pops the comment box, and they can say turn to black and white. You can then drag that comment over to there. Comment 2. You can go zoom in. Whoop. Click save, and then drag that comment onto there. So that's how they can make comments. Now, every time that they do that, it's it's a much easier way than just going image number 2 on the left hand side. I know some album proofers do it. You can't specifically select which image you want to go for, but this is great. You can literally pinpoint, or you can actually say, let's put a comment. You can go retouch this and hit comment and actually drag that right over the top, so there's no margin for error. They want that gone. They want the door handle gone, which is fine. And then you just go down, and this is how it's all viewed. So it's brilliant. It's a really awesome way of showing everything from there. It's lovely. Then right at the bottom, yeah. So up here, you can hit finished, and then they hit finished, and it goes. Now my email is now going to ping up, and that's how the screen looks. So I'll now get an email saying that there's been some movement or some comments on a spread. When I open the email up, I'll see exactly what I've just typed in from there. So again, there's no margin for error. Everything it's just popped up. Email proofer, you've probably seen it if you can see my screen. So that now pops up, and I can go through and make any changes where possible. So once you've made the changes, I'm just going to come back onto, go back onto my album proofer. New screen share. You should see that now. Client orders, Pro Enhancement, log into Design Proofer. I shut the wrong window down, Angela. Didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do that. Right, let's do this. There we go. Right, here we're back. So let's click on here. So we click on, where is it? Where have they gone? Oh, it's over here now because they've made some change. Proof designs. We can now upload a second revision. So you can see on this album, this isn't a real client order. We've got revision 1, revision 2. Just to basically, we'll select the files again. Just go into the space in which you have saved it. Kelly and Colin down in beer. Select all of the images, hit choose. And again, files too large because they're telling me they are the real album images. So basically, they're more than 2 megabytes. But you can see straight away, we've now got a third revision, so we can now keep track. So let's say the client might say on the third revision, actually, you know what? I quite prefer how you had it first off. Now, how many times have people have said that? If it's me, loads. So you can actually go back to the first and second revision and refresh your memory on how that spread actually looked. So it's a really good way of keeping track, not only of changes that you've made, but also going back and saying, actually, I preferred the way it looked from revision 1 or revision 2. It's absolutely brilliant bit of kit. And then you hit save. And then you go through the same options again. As you can see, the only thing that we've got here is the last spread because everything's too big. So again, make sure that you export the proof. You can delete that and we just hit cancel. But you can see that because we then proofed it, it went over to this side now. So it's really easy way of collating what you've done and what you've got to do. Obviously, at the minute, there's not much happening because I haven't shot any weddings. So again, it's a really, really good way of just kind of keeping an idea of what's happening. You've got some tabs at the top here. These are all my clients. Then we've got some archives here as well. So once an album has been approved and sent to print, you can then archive that design. So it's always going to be in your Pro Enhancement, but it's not going to be in the main window of your 2-proof and proofed spreads from there. Anyone got any questions?
Someone has asked, at what point do you introduce the concept of an album to clients?
Day one, right at the start. Yeah, right at the start. Everything on I think it's really easy to, people generally buy what they see. And I think at the first point of contact, albums are on my website. If you go to my website, we've got, so people are expecting to come and buy a book. So I think right at the point of capture, as in they've come into your website or social media, show them a book, and you're slowly soft selling the album. So right from day one, right from the initial inquiry, I always say, what size book are you looking to book in with us? So again, in my first response, hi guys, great to hear from you. I'm available on your wedding date. It'd be great to get you in or on Zoom to show you the albums. So again, first email back. I want to show you my books. I want to show you exactly what it is that we're selling here.
So I guess really you're introducing the purpose of the images, because I think a lot of people they know they want images, but they don't necessarily think about what they want to do with them. So you're getting that kind of purpose in straight away.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty as well at the minute. I think people know, I mean, I sell my files. If people want to buy the files, they can have them. Of course, I'm not that guy. But I think, I used to do digital only files, and that's a whole nother story. That's a different time that we can get onto about that. But I think, if you can touch it, it's real. If you can, there's nothing better than getting that album back from your supplier and then open up the box and that smell of leather hitting you, and it just takes you, you smell the quality if you can touch it. Mm-hmm. Again, if you come to my sales talks that I do, I paraphrase Jurassic Park when they're in the back of the trucks before they see the T-Rex, the night vision goggles. And the guy says, are those heavy? And the kid says, yeah, well, they're expensive. Put them down. So you can associate expense to weight. And again, I sell big albums. They're heavy. Therefore, it correlates to these are probably expensive. So again, you're softly selling your album and what you want to sell by having something big and tangible in front of the client.
Do you have any of the slideshows on your website?
You know, I used to, yeah. So I literally changed websites back in the summer, and I can't afford to put a new website together at the minute. But on my old website, yeah. So basically, what I did was I had all of my main venues. Now I shoot at a lot of venues, but the ones I'm at regularly, sort of 4 or 5 times a year, I would have a completed wedding album on a slideshow page, so couples can then go through and look at, and they could see how we laid the books out. They can see a complete real wedding from that venue, because it's all well and good showing you hero shots on your website. Customers, clients, they want to see real people in real weddings. So if we can do that, and I will get around to doing it once you start earning some money again next year, we can then put these spreadsheet slideshows back on, and then we can show real weddings. And again, it's engineering the couple. This is what you're going to expect. You come to the edge, you're going to expect something like this.
Yeah, and I guess also it inspires people what they want from their wedding as well. It's not, because there are certain people they book quickly, and I think photographers are one of them, because obviously you're a very busy person normally. But if they can see a wedding, it makes that's the atmosphere we want. That's what we want created,
and I think it makes it real.
Captured. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It makes it real. I mean, it's very hard. And I say this to all my couples that come in. It's very hard to picture yourself in these books. I said, but if you can see the quality in which we're going to produce, imagine yourself and how good you're going to look in an album like this. And it's about selling the quality. It's about reassurance, because the albums are expensive. If you come into us, you always spend in £2,000 for one of our books to come in and we do it. But it's, I've done many seminars and workshops in the past. It's how you sell that product and put yourself in the client's position. I guess a whole different webinar to how to sell books. It's, Andy, if you're watching, mate, I'll do one happily. If you want me to do how to sell, I'll do it.
I guess they say you don't sell the mattress, you sell a good night's sleep, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, each wedding album is different, but I use Graphic Studio, and we have 3 million combinations of how that album can look. I've got the swatch box here, and I can say, look, we can sit down here and go through it. It'll take you 3 hours, and sometimes there is too much choice. Let's be honest, there is a lot of choice there, but sell the dream. Sell the dream. Now, this is going to last forever. It's the only part. I'm going to paraphrase Martin Baines. It's the only part of the wedding album that will actually increase in value once all is said and done.
Yeah, that's really true. Right, slightly different question. Do you choose the images for the album to get a better flow?
Yes, I offer two. So basically, well, I offer 2 different ways of doing it. So I try and do what's called a pre-design. So I will design what I think their album should look like, because I've taken a picture and I say to the couples, you've trusted me this far, trust me that one more step, and let me give you the first proof. Because a lot of my clients are working 9 to 5 in London. They haven't got time to sit down and go through all the images that we took. And generally, they will pick the wrong ones, because the album, they pick the ones that they're going to want in the book, which is absolutely fine. And we do, which is why we use the proofer. So if they want to make a change to the spreads, they can. I don't take any offense. I might just go, I need to get rid of the best shot, and I'll put my point across. So we do what's called a pre-design, and they'll get the first draft how I've designed it. Now, some couples want full control, and that's fine. But then we do say, and we do stress, if you go down that route, that's fine. It will generally take 3 to 4 months to complete the order, because you're busy. You might send me the images back when it's height of summer, and it might take me 3 weeks to get back to looking at the design. Whereas if I'm doing a pre-design, we don't guarantee, but we try and get all our books from wedding to delivery within 12 weeks. And with a pre-design, you can speed up your process, and you can give the client their album a lot faster that way as well.
I know from a previous webinar that you've presented that you actually try and shoot, or you think in spreads as well when you're actually at the shooting stage, don't you?
Yeah, it really makes the pre-design a lot easier, because I'm thinking about, okay, 1 landscape, 2 upright. So again, we go back to that one I've started today. They wanted full control of their album. So their album was beautiful, but it wasn't how I've envisaged their wedding to be. So I'm going to do a completely new sample album from their wedding. Their album's beautiful. I loved it. It was amazing, but I'm going to make it to how I want it, because I want to sell the pre-design, because I can show the difference. This is what they picked. This is what I picked. Oh, yours is actually quite nicer. So again, you're selling it, and you're showing, come with me and I'll give you one less thing to worry about, and I can give you an album that's going to look amazing.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, thanks, Scott. It's been really interesting hearing from you. And, we've come to the end of our questions.
Are we done?
I think
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But I think everybody's learned a lot.
Oh, I'll just get going.
What I think is really impressive is last time Robert Pugh was talking about designing albums. And I think you designed 2 albums in the space of 45 minutes. You've just explained how to sell them and make changes in that time. So I think it shows really just how quick Fundy Designer is and how it can really help you sort of manage your client workflow as well.
It's without doubt the best investment I've made for my business in 14 years since I've set up. I was doing it all in Photoshop before, and it was taking me days to do an app. And this is honestly, if people that are watching don't have it, get a free trial. And I'm sure there's a couple of offers coming up for Black Friday. Get on board. It will literally change your revenue income, your business strategy, and it gives you more time to spend with your family, because you've been less time up here designing wedding albums. I can spend more time downstairs playing with my little one.
Actually, we've just got one more question that's come in. So how long have you been a wedding photographer, and do you still enjoy it?
I love it.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe not this year. I really miss doing it. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've shot 6 weddings this year since lockdown. So I've been active, and I've got 2 more coming up next month. So I can't wait to get back out and do it. I love what I do. I would, if I won the lottery, I'd still shoot weddings. I wouldn't shoot as many, that's for sure, but I'd still do it. I'm a people person. I love to interact with people. I love to be a part of the wedding process and create something that's going to last forever. And the legacy that we can do as image makers to make people's wedding days last forever, especially now, the weddings that I've shot this year, they got married during a global pandemic. How important is that to treasure that forever? And I love what I do. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's the best job in the world.
And it's obviously, creating albums, it's a really great way of sharing the event with people who couldn't get there.
Exactly. I'm selling more parents' books now and more Little Minion books now from Graphy than I ever have, because, like you say, with 15 people, I shot some with 30, with only 15 people. People want to, they wish they could be there. We could set up a Zoom, but Zoom can be dodgy internet connection. The lighting's not great, but then you buy one of my smaller albums to give to your bridesmaids, then they've got it forever. And it's a memory of what's been a pretty crap year, let's be honest. But if we can pull some happiness out of what's been pretty rubbish, then it's got to be good, right?
I think in 5 years' time, when you pick up the album and you flip through it, you'll have a much different view of 2020, because you'll be smiling about something, and sort of a lot of the rubbish that's gone on, you'll forget.
It's been really stressful, but it's been really stressful. I mean, I'm one of the forgotten 3 million people, so I've had no help at all. So it's been really stressful, and we've been struggling. It's not been an easy 8 months, but the time that it's given me to spend with a family and to sort my business out, I've had time to redone the website, redoing sample albums. I've tidied the office up, believe it or not. You can't see it, but it's quite tidy up here. It's given me a lot of time, and for that, I've actually quite enjoyed the time off, because I've spent, and normally I'm shooting and speaking all around the world, and I've not been doing that this year. And watch Emily grow up and spend time with her has been invaluable. It's been brilliant. If anyone does dive in and purchase the Fundy suite and they've got any questions, there's me, you've got Sanjay, there's plenty of us that are ambassadors here in the UK, and we use the software day in, day out, and we know it really, really well. So if you're stuck, you got any questions about the software, please just reach out. I think spend an hour on a Zoom call with you just to try and help you get set up, or something is pulling your hair out. Just ask the question. I'm more than happy to help. That's
a brilliant offer. Thanks very much for that, Scott. It's been great hearing from you.
A pleasure. You stay safe, and hopefully we'll catch up for a beer in the not too distant future.
That would be really nice. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Wouldn't it just?
Okay. Thanks then. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.